Welcome to Success from Scratch, your place for innovation, creativity, and the blueprint of success from peak performers just like you. Welcome to Success from Scratch, episode number 31, and my special guest, Evan Prado from our San Antonio and New Braunfels market. Evan, welcome.
Nice to have you. Nice to be a part of this. Sorry.
No, I'm glad you're here, and so glad to get to know you and for the audience to get to know you. So tell us a little bit about yourself, and I know you focus on two markets. You really focus on New Braunfels and San Antonio. But tell us a little bit about yourself and the two markets that you service.
So I've been in real estate 4 years, and I have two primary markets, New Braunfels, Texas, and San Antonio, Texas. New Braunfels is really kind of like a suburb of San Antonio, if you will. It's so close. And I have a real estate team, but we run more as a group. And pretty much it's 4 agents working together to reach a goal.
Yeah. Now, what's unique about your team that I love is you were able to, many of your team members first started as a transaction coordinator or an administrative assistant, and they moved up to being team members, and then you've replaced them. So tell us about that.
So what's interesting is when I first started, I pretty much worked on my own, and then I helped create a team. And this team, going back 4 years now, these people have pretty much followed me throughout my career. And so, for instance, my transaction coordinator became a real estate agent shortly 6 to 7 months after being a transaction coordinator, and then came on to be one of my most powerful realtors that I have on the team. Right. She, if not trying always to beat me, beats me 1 month, and then the next month I get her back. So it's kind of nice to have that. And then my assistant evolved from being my assistant for a year and a half to being a full producing agent. And then now I have a licensed assistant, and he works directly for me and with me. But my goal is also to transition him out into a full producing agent, self-sufficient on his own as well.
So that's so exciting for me, because so many team leaders I talk with want to put that transaction coordinator in a box and let them stay there forever, or the administrative assistant, because they don't want to have to retrain folks. So how did you get through the fear of having to retrain people and have the vision of being able to bring people in, let them get started in transaction coordinating or administrative assistant, and move them into real estate? How did you get through that?
So it's always a piece that we're working on, because, for instance, when an auxiliary or administrative personnel want to grow, my answer was never, no, you have to fit in this box and that's all you can do. I was always like, okay, well, prove it to me. Let's see, can you get licensed, first of all? Right. And then let's start producing, and then so slowly coaching hand in hand. And so then the other pieces, it became easier to outsource than to direct hire those pieces, right, because eventually those people would want to evolve as well. It's no secret that, when you have someone working right next to you or in the same room as you, and they start seeing the success you have, regardless of you being a workhorse and them not or whatever, they will say, oh, well, why am I doing all this work? And I see your checks, or because they're doing all the paperwork. So they see everything. They're like, I can do that, And so I kind of put it to the test of like, well, if you can do it, go ahead. Come on, show me. And then, so we've then now since outsourced the transaction coordination part of it, so that there are people that are willing to be in that box. I'm not having to deal with the pressures of, them wanting to get coached by me. Right. And at the same time, the people that I have evolved over the past 4 years continue to follow me, not only because of loyalty, but because also I'm very black and white. And so I can coach them. I talk to Debbie at least once a day. Mm-hmm. I talk to Joe at least twice a week. So these agents are very well connected to me, and I've transitioned them. And now, if there are new people that do come on, and want to transition, start at administrative level and go up, I'm not against it. If anything, it can help me a little bit more on the field.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So helping people grow. So I know your goal this year personally, not for the team, but your goal is to hit about $12 million in sales. How are you generating most of your leads and your sales that you do?
So I once was coached that I either had time or I had money. So when I was new, I had a lot of time and not a lot of money.
Right.
And so I did the traditional prospecting and everything like that. Now, 3.5 years, almost four will be December, just to give you the benchmark there. I pay for a lot of online marketing. I pay for leads to be able to sustain my business and then also grow my referral business, because I was coached that, you want to pay for business for about 3 to 4 years, and then eventually it'll shift to referral business. And so that's what I've been working on, is working on my SOI of my paid business, and then also working on my converting my paid business. And that's where I spend most of my time currently, is working my clients versus looking for clients, because I pay for that part of it. And so now it's just working the sphere that I have and working the leads that I have, and also having my assistant follow up and do those kinds of things so that we can keep as many clients on the books as possible.
Building your pipeline. Awesome.
Yeah.
So tell the audience, tell us one thing, one or two things in either a daily routine, a system, or a process that you have that either, keeps you motivated, keeps you inspired, keeps you on track towards your goals.
So I have my assistant that keeps my schedule. And every morning we touch base, see what the week is looking like, see what the day is looking like. We also talk about clients and leads that we have, whether they be hot clients that are already, like, we have an appointment, let's say, for instance, this evening. I have a buy, sell deal, a double deal. So we have that appointment, but we already have a forecast for the week. So I already have appointments set out all the way through the weekend. And we're, early on in the week. So that keeps me motivated because I already have something to look forward to. So I'm not dwelling on maybe the canceled contract or whatever the case was that happened yesterday. I'm looking at what is the, the big goal for today, getting that listing, that $400,000 listing, or even going and getting that listing on Thursday or Friday, that's $160,000 condo. So having that, kind of meeting of the minds to start the day, it gets me motivated because I already know, hey, I'm employed, I have work, I'm going to keep going. And so that's what helps me.
Yeah. Have you found that there's one secret to get more appointments?
Work your sphere and work your leads. So in my case, like I said, I do pay for a lot of my business. So for me, if I feel like I'm slow, then something isn't right. Either not enough people know that I'm a realtor, or I am not working my clients. If I had 2 appointments a day or 3 appointments a day for the past 3 weeks, well, then who isn't under contract, who isn't shopping, and what happened to those that haven't reached back? And let's go ahead and call them back, try and get them in a house, try and get them on the street. So that's my focus there.
Yeah, sounds like it. Yesterday I wrote a blog around a system will produce what a system will produce, nothing less, nothing more. Your system is producing about $12 million of business for you. And if you want to look at that blog, go to jpar.net/blog and look for the blog around a system will produce. So have you ever, in the last 4 years, wanted to throw in the towel? Just throw in the towel, go back to, get a real job?
My first year, there was moments that I wanted to throw in the towel. And that was after producing over $2 million in real estate, which is technically the average realtor. I just felt like there was a lot of work involved. and I didn't know if I wanted to continue, and I had just lost a couple of deals, and it was pretty devastating at the moment, looking at that's my paycheck next week or whatever, and then it died. But as I've been in the business longer and as I've worked every day, I don't see myself going back to a regular job. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that are like, you'll get tired of being on the streets all the time, because I love buyers. Maybe I'm sick, I don't know. But I love being on the street. I love buyers. I mean, yes, I do have a driver. My assistant drives me. I pay for time, if you will,
Right.
so that I'm in the passenger seat and I can work, I can write contracts, I can follow up, I can do all that. So I pay for my time as well. But I love it. Showing, a little, $100,000 house or $1 million house. For whatever reason, I like making dreams come true or reaching a client's goal or whatever it is. And listings, I do like listings as well, but for whatever reason, I just find buyers to be so much more fun.
Yeah, and I love that you shared about your driver, because you're really leveraging, whether it's your transaction coordination service, your administrative assistant, or in this case, the driving, where you can be productive during that downtime. You're really, really maximizing what I call leverage.
Yes, I have to leverage my time because, it could be a 30-minute drive for one property, and I might have 3 or 4 buyers under contract.
Yeah. Good job.
I don't like to pitch off people to like my assistant or another agent. If I'm going to start with the buyer, I'm going to end with that buyer. And so what happens is I'm able to respond to them. I'm able to answer their phone calls most of the time. So that I think also separates me from other agents, because I do give my clients almost like full availability. I mean, some of them don't even realize that I have 5 or 6 or 7 other clients. But
they feel like they're the only one.
They feel like they're the only one. They're getting a very personal service. And I always tell them, I'm not a salesman, I'm a consultant. I'm here to consult you on the process of buying a home. At the end of the day, you're the boss. You decide the time, you decide the house, and you decide the price. I'm going to consult you on it, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, love it. So as we wrap up this episode, any last minute words of wisdom, words of advice, or coaching for the audience?
I think you just always have to stay positive. Just like any buyer or seller, if they're in a negative mindset, it's very hard to help them. And so you as a professional have to make sure that you remove all emotion from your transaction, and you are the business person. You have to stay positive, and every day, even if today's not the best, tomorrow will be better. And that's the way that I have an outlook, is every day will get better, even if yesterday was not that great. And so just work, answer your phone, and at the end of the day, it will pay tenfold.
Yeah, awesome. Well, with that, thank you for sharing with the audience today your journey, and we'll see you soon on an episode of Success from Scratch.